Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Ragosa, and for my explainer video, I'll be discussing the importance of listening to the lived experiences of others and how this can allow us to serve as allies in order to create change. Marin County is one of the top 5 richest counties in the United States. However, it has the largest racial disparity gaps of any county in California. Communities in Marin County, like Marin City, are historically marginalized and lack the funding that allows their youth within their communities to excel academically, financially, and socially. In Marin County, Black families are confined to environments with limited resources, leading to marginalized groups of students to have greater difficulty pursuing a higher education. According to the Bay Area Equity Atlas, students in high poverty schools, largely students of color, are less likely to have access to advanced college prep courses and are less likely to meet UC and CSU course requirements compared to white youth. Unfortunately, this is a consequence of students not having access to college and career prep resources. Education equity is a key factor towards future success, and our education system currently does not prepare low income people and people of color to succeed in our knowledge driven community. Ultimately, white communities in Marin County do not fall victim to these burdens because the structures work for them. Through serving with nonprofit organizations in Marin City the past 3 semesters, I've learned about my own positionality and the importance of recognizing implicit biases. On my first day serving with an organization in Marin City during the spring of 2020, my eyes were open to my own privilege, implicit bias, and the ways in which racist structures impact so many communities of color in the United States. When I'd first arrived in Marin City, I was initially very anxious because there were large groups of African American males hanging out on the streets. Marin City and its African American community were unknown territory for me as I'm from Roseville, California, which is a predominantly white and privileged community where there are very few people of color. Through serving with organizations in Marin City in conjunction with learning from class material, I have been able to recognize my positionality over time and become more knowledgeable about my own implicit biases and the inequitable structures that impact communities like Marin City. This semester, I'm serving with the Hannah Project and accompanying Betty Hodges, the executive director and founder of the Hannah Project, through my work as their newsletter writer. The Hannah Project is a nonprofit organization that is located in Marin City. Their mission is to boost the academic proficiency and college attendance of Marin City and other low income youth of color by working in partnership to promote a community culture that encourages achievement. With this mission, they're committed to working as a collective in order to create an environment for underserved families and youth to excel. Thus, this close knit nature of Marin City residents has been important for creating a sense of belonging in minorities who have undergone oppression by privileged communities. As the Hannah Project's newsletter writer this semester, I've learned the importance of putting the voices and lives of the subjugated at the moral center. It is stories that allow us to hear the lived experiences of individuals and help us to avoid creating misconceptions and masking the realities of a person's life. By listening to the voices and stories of marginalized and oppressed groups and working in partnership alongside these individuals, we can serve as allies to offer a better window or view into their lives without undermining their experiences. In addition, listening to stories works as a strategy to increase equity as outsiders or those who lack a complete understanding of the day to day experiences of these individuals are able to recognize their true lived experiences. We need to value the knowledge and personal narratives of these marginalized individuals and follow this strategy of perspective taking to liberate them and create a more equitable society. Through serving in Marin City, I've learned about the ways in which racial segregation, specifically in the school setting, is a social structure that severely impacts the community. The Sausalito Marin City School District has intentionally maintained racial segregation, causing students of color to be deprived of equal opportunities to excel in school. While Willow Creek Academy monopolizes the majority of funding within the district due to being located in a rich white neighborhood, Bayside MLK is located in Marin City, a historically impoverished community that is unable to provide as many educational opportunities to their majority Black and Latinx students. While serving with the Hannah Project, I interviewed a Willow Creek alumni who also attended Bayside MLK for resource classes. During the interview, she explained how the books at Willow Creek were so much better than the books at Bayside. Through hearing the stories of minorities who have experienced the impacts of segregated schooling firsthand, I've learned that students of color who attend racially segregated schools have limited resources, making it difficult to achieve higher education. In addition to this unjust social structure of racial segregation in the school setting, there are also myths that cause inequitable opportunities in the school setting to only persist. The Willow Creek alumni stated how the desegregation plans have been strongly opposed by Willow Creek families due to implicit biases, as they're unwilling to send their children to Marin City since it is dangerous and full of crime. These families from Willow Creek are very ignorant to the inequalities that students of color face and maintain a tight grip on narratives that keep privileged individuals in positions of power within the education system. Overall, through my work with the Hannah Project as their newsletter writer and hearing about the experiences that youth face due to systemic racism and racist myths, I now feel the need to advocate for these Marin City youth who are being mistreated by the education system and to call out ignorance from Willow Creek parents within my research. Although the Sausalito Marin City School District has decided to reopen next year as a unified school, I realize that unification is not the only answer, as my community partner supervisor, Betty Hodges, has explained to me that integration only allows for the space to change. I will not be silent or neutral about the ways in which the school districts are still not reflective of the people that they serve and how racist structures can be dismantled. The people within these communities that are impacted by these structures have assets and strengths that allow them to drive social movements. Mutual aid is described by Spade in the reading Solidarity, Not Charity, and how it can be used to support vulnerable populations to survive, mobilize significant resistance, and build the infrastructure we need for the coming disasters. Through following this strategy of mutual aid, nonprofit organizations within the community, like the Hannah Project, are able to build solidarity as those who have gone through the Hannah Project's programming have been invited to come back and serve as employees and leaders for future generations. The individuals in Marin City are able to work as a collective to excel and fight against the structures that have been built to work against them. As an individual that is coming into this community, I have learned that it is crucial to be an ally in order to fight racism and change policies to reform society. But first, in order to make change, we need to open our eyes to inequity as well as the assets within these communities and listen to the lived experiences of those we intend to fight alongside.